Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'd like to introduce myself quickly, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm Adam Crockett. I'm the Senior Director of Service and Advanced Solutions at D&H. Part of my role is, in addition to all things services, is covering our power and networking category in many of the OEM products that fit into there, as well as our 5G connectivity practice, which is a large part of what today's discussion is about. We're excited to have you. I get to do these every month or so, and I just want to make sure that all of you recognize that we at D&H appreciate your business. We recognize you have a lot going on any given day, and we thank you for taking time to spend with us. You could do lots of things today, so we hope the next 45 minutes will be high impact. We hope it'll be helpful, and we hope that it'll help you to continue to grow your business, and certainly that with D&H. Let me also introduce a couple of my colleagues who will be presenting today with me from both Cellhub and D&H, of course, and Ubiquiti. I'll first by just making mention that Cellhub is D&H's primary agent for our 5G carrier that we partner with, which is T-Mobile. And so from there, we have John Tonthat. He will be speaking with you folks shortly. I have Corey Morgan and Josh Schaffner that work on my team as pre-sales engineers, covering the networking category, as well as all things 5G as it associates to networking products. And lastly, we have Tom Hildebrand from Ubiquiti, who is sharing today's presentation, as Ubiquiti has a great suite of products that are fixed wireless assets that are able to be 5G activated. All right, so let's get started. Today's session is focused on helping you folks confidently position 5G connectivity as both a primary internet solution and a resilient, rather inexpensive failover option for your customers. The goal is simple: show you how connectivity can become a new revenue stream while strengthening the overall solution you already provide. Over the next 45 minutes, we're going to cover a few things. Why D&H, about a year and a half ago, has invested in a 5G connectivity practice ourselves, leading with next generation wireless solutions, and why, in fact, we chose T-Mobile as our partner. Secondly, we're going to talk about this. Sorry, I wanted to put it on your screen. How connectivity marketing, the connectivity market is evolving, and why partners are paying attention. Where 5G fits into your deals already that you're selling, and again, why T-Mobile. And the easiest opportunities to start attaching connectivity to your networking business in the future of mission-critical connectivity. Whether you're new to the wireless game and connectivity at large, or you're already exploring 5G opportunities, we hope that you'll leave with practical use cases, potentially some sales motions to get started, and most importantly, through D&H partner resources that you can immediately put into action to help you along the way. We're here to support you on your journey. Okay, why is D&H investing in next-gen wireless? What made us make the decision to do that? When we talk to partners across the country, one message is becoming increasingly clear. Connectivity is no longer optional infrastructure. It's business critical. Customers expect, your customers expect, you expect for your own business, and we too at D&H expect that our network needs to be available all the time. And they expect their partners to ensure that that reliability is built into solution selling. That's one of the primary reasons we've invested in our wireless solutions, our 5G practice, and more importantly, how we are here to help you along your same journey. Resilient connectivity has become table stakes. Every size, no matter what type of company and what industry, want basically no downtime. They want improved business continuity. They want to maintain productivity. And they know that traditional circuits or ISP providers can and will fail from time to time. Wireless connectivity provides an efficient and scalable way to accomplish that. We also see this as an excellent growth opportunity for all of you folks. Many of you are already selling routers, switches, hotspots, security solutions, dongles, all kinds of power protection and network infrastructure. Adding 5G is a natural opportunity, a relatively easy attach that it can increase deal value by allowing you to be paid commissions for activating data plans and ongoing monthly recurring revenue, or MRR, to help that customer with their internet solution via a 5G data plan. Most importantly, we do not want you to tackle this alone. This is hard. This is different. This is complex. But we have us and we have Cellhub that are here to help you, and we'll talk about the easiest ways to start your 5G connectivity practice with a very, very low level of effort to get started. This initiative brings together D&H, Cellhub, and T-Mobile. We provide distribution, enablement, partner support, partner resources, and we can give you deep wireless expertise and technical guidance. And you'll learn a little bit more that T-Mobile brings the nation's leading 5G network to bear. T-Mobile for Business for network connectivity is the nation's leading 5G network. Together, we're creating a friendly partner approach base to help you build such a practice. With this foundation, I'd like to hand it over to John Tonthat, who will help discuss the market's changes that are going on and why, again, so many organizations are reevaluating how they connect to their locations today. John?
Appreciate it, Adam. First off, thanks to the D&H team, and thanks for Ubiquity to join us on the webinar today. Many times the question is asked, why does T-Mobile have the right to win? And it really started with the acquisition of Sprint. In fact, T-Mobile was able to acquire Sprint when AT&T tried to acquire T-Mobile, and that didn't go through. And T-Mobile received a $4 billion breakup fee. It was that cash that allowed T-Mobile to acquire Sprint, and in so doing, acquire the largest swath of mid-band spectrum in this country. And that the analyst refers to as the Goldilocks band, because it balances both distance and speed and penetration, particularly in building. So today, T-Mobile, to your point earlier, is the leading 5G provider, has the largest amount of mid-band spectrum, which allows them to do a variety of different things as they deploy their 5G standalone network. So just a couple of things to keep in mind. Right now, there's 98% of the US population covered by 5G from T-Mobile, and in many instances with 5G standalone architecture. And what that breaks down to is the ability to network slice. Think of network slicing as network virtualization from an NSX point of view, but they do that from a cellular carrier point of view. And what T-Mobile's able to do is to identify, isolate, and provide SLA-driven attributes to a specific network slice, right? Or slice of the frequency. What does that do? It allows T-priority to happen in New York City, where all of the first responders now use T-priority from T-Mobile, which is a network slice. And T-Mobile is also bringing to bear network slice from a POS point of view. And for the 2% that T-Mobile doesn't cover, they've partnered with Starlink. And so today there's over 650 LEO satellites that are enabling T-Mobile to provide Starlink connectivity at the cell phone level. And we'll touch base a little bit later on how T-Mobile fuses together both Starlink and a fixed wireless connection to provide 4 nines of availability. So that gives you a good sense of why T-Mobile has a right to win. And candidly, that's why D&H selected Cellhub and T-Mobile to build the practice. I hope that helps. And I think we're on to a set of questions or polling questions.
Thank you, John. So while we're transitioning to the next part of the presentation, if you'd be so kind, which best describes your customers currently and how they're using 5G or asking about connectivity or cellular connectivity today? We'll give you a minute or two to respond.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks for that.
You can see the answer there. You can see a lot of questions around primary as a failover option. Go ahead.
Yeah. So to that very point, 5G as a use case in the end was validated by consumers, because you can see in the chart that from 2022 to now, how many fixed wireless connections are powering homes all throughout the United States. And the next layer of growth is really in the commercial space. And in the commercial space, we'll touch base upon this a little bit later, but essentially there's two: backup and failover. But more importantly, why T-Mobile has the right to win, particularly in a primary situation. And that, prior to 5G SA from T-Mobile, wasn't really thought of. And architecturally, it wasn't necessarily possible. Today it is, because many routers today have two SIMs in it, and those SIMs can either bond synchronously or asynchronously, which then can create enough connectivity and bandwidth and latency to power a primary connection. So T-Mobile, just that, can support both active primary WAN connections, as well as failover connections. And the point here is now is the time to embrace T-Mobile. And from a fixed wireless point of view, there's a lot of opportunity for the partner community to not leave money on the table and integrate connectivity into the routers that you're selling today. And I think with that, we're heading to the next series of questions.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, John. Another polling question for the partner community. And again, thanks for your time today. When you deploy networking solutions, which of these do you typically provide? Networking equipment only, network and power backup, network and internet connectivity, or a complete always-on solution, something that we are working very collaboratively with Cellhub, our power category, as well as organizations like Ubiquity on ourselves. We'll give you a minute to give us a response. We appreciate it. Again, thanks for your participation. It's good to see a little bit of networking power backup. Our goal, of course, is to help you learn how to maybe focus more on the bottom option, right? Option D, and make it very easy for you to do and fruitful for you to do so. With that, we'll continue. All right. Having said that, if I'm not mistaken, I've got my two colleagues from D&H, both Josh and Corey, both pre-sales engineers and solution architects that work with me and many, many partners and all of our internal stakeholders when building network configurations and other network build of materials. I think they're going to spend a few minutes talking to you about two different use cases. So with that, I'll send it over to Josh and Corey.
Oh, thank you so much, Adam. So yeah, Corey and I are going to talk about the two best cases where 5G really shines, and those opportunities are really for internet failover or 5G, where it can replace your traditional wireline ISP and become your primary internet service provider. First, we'll focus on the failover side of things. So most businesses use a wireline ISP, and disconnections, outages are very common. These issues can be more frequent or severe based on the geographical location you may be in or environmental variables that are present in your environment. But things like construction work, utility pole accidents, updates from the ISP, whether they're emergency or routine, failing hardware on the ISP side, failing hardware on the commercial side or residential side, or even some crazy things like animals chewing through conduit and cables. No matter what happens, you need a plan for availability. And living on a prayer is a great song, but it is a very bad business model. And internet outages don't call you ahead of time and say, hey, is it a good time to go down, or can we schedule this downtime? No, they happen at the most inopportune times, whenever they unexpectedly happen and the internet goes down and you have no access. Internet outages also get compounded whenever you have internal issues that are already happening. So let's say you have some users or some systems that are having some issues, and remote IT or an MSP needs to remote into your systems to take a look and figure out what's going on. If internet access is lost, they have no access to remote access, and they have to find some way to get boots on the ground there, and that can expand the time that it takes to troubleshoot whatever problem's going on. If they do have in-house IT, that's great, but let's say there's a line of business software that has a database that's corrupted and the vendor needs to be brought in, and the vendor has to remote in to take a look at the database, see how it can be fixed. That might not even be able to be addressed until you get internet access back up. So that's why 5G failover is super essential, no matter what your business case may be. So after you factor in the cost of downtime, productivity, and an outage, and this can happen for a whole office, a remote office, or even a single user, a lot of times 5G failover often pays for itself even after the first outage. And you can integrate 5G in most current firewalls that you have. They just need to support dual WAN. You get an external 5G router or modem, plug that into the secondary WAN port on your firewall, set up failover, and you're good to go. You can also buy an all-in-one appliance that has cellular already built into it, so you have everything right there in one appliance. So many options there. And this can be done at the main corporate office. This could be done at a remote or satellite office, or it can even be done for remote users that work from home. So at the end of the day, 5G failover really strengthens your security posture. It's big on availability, which is a huge tier in security. And whenever you secure those things up, you're really giving other businesses more confidence in doing business with you, and you're showing your reliability as a partner. Even when external challenges arise, you have plans set for business continuity. So you don't want to gamble all of your business operations, your business reputation, something that you can never get back from a backup until your first outage. You want to have these things already planned and thought about. And at the end of the day, losing your internet connection is avoidable, much like ransomware. You really have to invest in your business and your business continuity plans before an incident happens, because there's really no price for a peace of mind. Corey, can you tell us about
Real quick,
Yeah.
Josh, before we go to Corey, and you were saying no price, let me just lean in a bit further on price for a second. You're probably familiar with what typical ISP monthly costs might be. I think oftentimes we socialize to be $50 to $100 a month. You got to pay for two. There's no discount on the second one while it sits there as a failover. Am I correct?
Yeah, and a lot of times you're doing it with the same provider. So if the provider goes down, it's not really going to help you there.
Yeah, and so we've found that there's relatively inexpensive T-Mobile for business data plans for failover for use cases that Josh is talking about that start as low as $25 a month, maybe as high as $50 to $60 a month. So it's really important for all of the aforementioned reasons that Josh has said, but economically speaking, it's probably the least expensive or the lower cost alternative for failover as well, to be used on an intermittent basis. So in the end, we're trying to save our customers money. And oh, by the way, unlike the traditional ISP, most of the folks on this phone are not going to get paid monthly to sell the ISP contract. So in this case, when you're working with D&H and Cellhub and T-Mobile, you're going to be compensated for that data plan, even on a failover basis. So more reasons for us as a partner to do it, for you folks as a partner to do it, more reasons for your end user when it comes to economic benefit. For that, we'll send it back over to Corey. And again, Josh, thanks for your use case example relative to failover. On to you, Corey.
Thanks, Adam. So why use 5G as your primary internet connection? I worked with both fixed wireless and traditional. I was a cable-based internet service provider out of Maryland for many years. I've been in information technology for about 20 plus years. And when you're dealing with a traditional wired internet, it can take weeks to install. It can require construction, site surveys, coordination with your local internet providers, unpredictable installation costs. If you've got to run fiber a mile, that can be thousands and thousands of dollars. But cellular 5G connectivity changes that. With 5G, businesses can get locations online quickly without waiting for a physical circuit to be installed. Makes cellular 5G an ideal primary connection for branch offices, retail locations, construction sites, temporary facilities, remote locations, really any business that needs connectivity without unnecessarily long delays. 5G can deliver speeds into the hundreds and hundreds of megabits per second, which is really a sweet spot in terms of small and medium businesses. So with 5G, you get benefits of faster deployment. You can get your locations connected in days instead of waiting weeks or even months for a traditional wired circuit. You have a lot greater flexibility. It's easy to deploy. It's easy to relocate or scale as your business needs change. Also, have a reduced infrastructure dependency. Like, you're not reliant on a local cable or fiber, trenching, last mile construction. And you have simplified operations. Just think you can standardize your connectivity across multiple locations instead of managing like the bills for different local ISPs or contracts and installation processes. It brings it all down into, just one bill. It saves a lot of time and money. You got predictable costs. You don't have any unexpected construction charges or installation expenses. With 5G, you're going to know exactly what you're getting into. It's very simplified and easy to install. So modern 5G cellular connectivity isn't simply a temporary backup option anymore. With performance available from T-Mobile 5G networks, cellular can serve as a reliable primary internet for any business applications. To me, the real question isn't really why would I use cellular instead of wired internet? Be more, why should my business wait for a wire when I can be connected right now? I digress, but that's my viewpoint on it. We do have Tom Hildebrand from Ubiquity with us. He is going to talk about their 5G devices and how they fit to these internet use cases.
Appreciate it. We'll get to Tom shortly. I see a first question coming in, so I'm going to address that. Corey, thank you. And while I address this question, and we'll probably point it to John Tontat, if you then want to share any more insights on either use cases, please do so. But Roger, thanks, and please submit questions. That's what we're here for. They have a client that required static IP and T-Mobile supplied through an Inseego modem router. They're working great and have canceled cable service. Can the Inseego router be used in residential installs where static IPs are required, or will a Ubiquity router with built-in SIMs provide static IPs? Corey, Josh, you got that? Or even Tom? Or we can get it answered later. You guys let us know.
Static IPs typically come from the provider themselves. So if T-Mobile can provide a static IP, then it can be assigned on the device that you're getting it to.
Gotcha. Anybody else have any other comments? Josh, John, Tom?
Yeah, to that very point, static IP is in fact available from T-Mobile. I think to answer the first part of the question, absolutely, Inseego could be used in the home. Relative to the Ubiquity portion of the question, that I'm going to defer to Tom. But yeah, static IP all day long.
Great. Any other comments around? Oh, go ahead, Tom, please. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was going to jump in. Yeah, we'll fully support static IPs for T-Mobile with our U5G products. That's no problem at all. For residential setup, for business setup, as long as the rate plan supports giving you a static IP, the modem can handle it, no problem.
Fair enough. Thank you. I have a question that came in from Matt. Can you share the pricing, or do you have to become a partner to get the pricing? We can share it. You don't. It's not coveted. We'd love for you to become a partner. We'd like to engage with you, and we'll make sure we get a follow up to you, Matt, for the pricing. So there's a good, better, best that we're advertising for monthly data plans. 10 gig, 100 gig, and unlimited at around $25, $50, and $60. Again, 10 gigabit, 100 gigabit, unlimited on a fixed wireless asset running somewhere in the $25, $50, or $60 a month plus taxes and fees. Hope that answers your question. And then, John, I'll give you one more opportunity since we're taking some questions. Please keep sending them in. Any additional comments on or use cases or specific brands that you've worked with Cellhub and T-Mobile that are using it for internet failover or primary business internet, and what was the driving reason other than what Corey and Josh shared, or just a little bit more detail about maybe a use case specifically?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think from a D&H point of view, we've partnered with you on a router vendor called Skymere. And if you all haven't heard of Skymere, I would encourage you to go check them out. It's like the town in Florida, SKYMIRR. And what SkyMeter is a bit different than other routers is the founder of the company was the former founder of Tile Glass, an antenna company. So they have a patented design that enhances antenna design within the router. It has passed amazing benchmarks at T-Mobile and are now being viewed in commercial applications. Having said that, I think there's multiple different routers for different use cases, and they're all optimized a little bit differently for the use case. So I mentioned earlier, you could, if you'd like, use Peplink and bond connections, both cable or fiber connections along with fixed wireless, so that you can have an aggregated connection. So there's a list of standard authorized providers, when I say providers, routers from T-Mobile, and we can put that in the link. But largely, if it's gone through PTCRB certification and it has made it onto the standards list with T-Mobile, you're pretty much guaranteed a terrific performance. So thanks for the question, Adam.
You're welcome. And we'll continue. I think we've got another polling question, and we're staying good on time. But thank you again for your attendance. Hopefully you've enjoyed the time so far, and we've only got maybe 15 minutes left. All right. Forget the polling question. That'll come up next. I'd like to turn it over to Tom Hildebrand from Ubiquiti. I think he's going to share a bit about our partnership between D&H and Ubiquiti. We are a Ubiquiti reseller and do a lot of business in the SMB market. And these are some of the devices, I believe, that are on their line card that are applicable with T-Mobile.
Yeah, thanks, Adam.
Sure.
So yeah, thanks for having me today. I'm here to talk to you guys about the T-Mobile 5G certified devices that we have. So we've started working on 5G devices. We released our first ones about end of last year. And we really have 3 line categories that I'd like to talk to you about today. So the first one is RedCap modems. Now, RedCap is super new. I've got one right here, actually. This is U5G backup. You can see it's ultra compact. It's barely wide enough to fit an RJ45 in the bottom. And RedCap means reduced capacity. This is a lower cost modem, but it's super versatile. It's magnetic mounting, window mounting, just slap it on the side of a rack, no problem. But reduced capacity means that it's only good for about 40 to 50 megabits. So we recommend this product for customers that only need a few devices for failover. Think about small retail. You might want to be able to access your camera recorder. You might want your point of sale system to stay up, but you wouldn't necessarily need to provide guest Wi-Fi. In which case, U5G backup is a perfect solution. You can put a SIM card straight in the bottom, or you can set up an eSIM, no problem at all. Do that even remotely. Now, if you want to step it up, if we want to go into our use case of providing primary WAN, or even just a load balanced WAN connection, that's where our 5G Max products come in. So 5G Max brings in up to 3.4 gig is what we quote on the modem. Real world, that is our several hundred megabits. That is our first class citizen WAN connection. So you have your choice of an indoor model with a little screen on it, used to check signal strength, used to check data usage, or we have our outdoor model, which comes on with a more ruggedized mount. It's weatherproof. You can just stick that on the side of a building, roughly aim it towards a tower, and get pretty solid coverage that way. That's what I personally have at my house. All of our 5G products are really tightly integrated with Unify Network, our traditional license-free network management software that ties in with our gateways. What makes our 5G backup products really unique is they support something called GRE tunneling. Rather than trying to figure out complex cabling requirements, especially if this is a retrofit install, you're upgrading a network stack that was put in maybe a decade ago. You don't need to home run new cabling to this modem. These 5G backup devices can be plugged into any PoE port anywhere on the network, and they will intelligently tunnel back. This means that if you have an office building where, say, a corner office gets really good cell reception, you can just place this in that corner office. You don't need to home run cables. You don't need to run antenna cables. If your core networking is in the basement or in the core of the building where there's no cell reception at all, this is a perfect solution for you. Likewise, if you want to set up multiple SIMs, whether it's for carrier redundancy, whether it's for setting up something like a private 5G deployment, we've worked with T-Mobile before to use these for private 5G as well. The 5G Max devices do support dual physical SIMs or one physical and one eSIM. You can see the pricing on there. U5G backup is $99. U5G Max is $399. And there's a whole lot of flexibility here. So you can set individual VLANs to use those as backup internet sources. You can set individual devices to use them as backup internet. So you could, like I used our guest Wi-Fi example, just completely prevent them from connecting when your primary connection is down. Or if you wanted to use this as a primary WAN, you could say force them out a fixed wireless link that wouldn't have any data costs associated. And finally, we have our 5G integrated gateways. I know that was mentioned earlier in our webinar today about having an all-in-one product. And this is truly all-in-one. So this has our built-in gateway. This has our built-in 5G Max chipset in it. So the dual SIM, the 3.4 gigabit modem, 5G NR, all of that good stuff. It's got expandable storage. It's got an SFP plus cage on it, 2.5 gig switching with a PoE port. Everything UniFi for a compact setup or just a setup that you want to grow or expand in the future, all in one box. I know people that travel with these, it'll throw them in a backpack, people that will use these for permanent deployments, because the whole story of UniFi is, of course, being able to scale, whether that is adding one of our modems to an already built deployment, or whether it is scaling out to many different sites, buying a fleet of the Dream Router 5G Max and using our fabrics to provision users, zero-touch provisioning, templatized configurations, all of that license-free. So those are some of our 5G products. We have more, of course, in the works, but I'm happy to answer any questions, go into detail on these. I've been using U5G Max personally. In fact, I think I've actually failed over to it right now. It looks like I failed over right after this webinar started, and I don't think anybody can tell a difference. So I'm pretty proud of that product.
Thanks, Tom. There's a question that came in from the partner community, and let me just, before I ask the question, any questions that anybody has about the entire Ubiquiti product line, you can send an email to ubiquitispecialist@dnh.com, and there is dedicated resources that are focused on the Ubiquiti portfolio. So again, that's ubiquitispecialist@dnh.com. The question that came in is for U5G Max Outdoor, be it a directional antenna. How do we know what direction to point the device at? Question from Matt at Envision Technologies.
That's a great question. So it's semi-directional. There's a slight preference in the antenna diagram where it prefers obviously having something directly in front of it, but it's pretty omnidirectional. Now, if you look on the side of it, right, I'm going to try to draw on a slide. If you look right here on the product, there is a built-in signal strength indicator. So you can use that to help you aim it. But in general, before mounting it, we recommend looking at something like Cell Mapper to see where your nearest towers are. There's also cell strength in the UniFi Network application and in the mobile app.
Great, thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks for the question. For a question from Manu at Team Logic IT out of Scottsdale. I know you're talking about failover. Are you also going to cover 5G to improve cell phone reception? And do you support neutral host? John, can you help me with this question?
Sure. So part of our services portfolio and engagement with D&H partners is to solve for in-building coverage. There's a number of different ways to solve for in-building coverage, starting at sort of the lowest end of the spectrum, If you wanted T-Mobile in building, T-Mobile will shortly announce a femto product that would put 2.5 or T-Mobile spectrum throughout your facility. The second level up, candidly, is with a product from HP, AirPass. Depending on the commercial application, that may work for you. And then you get up to a distributed antenna system, whether that be small cell or large, and installing a neutral host system. T-Mobile can architect, design, and put in a neutral host system, with T-Mobile leading and then the other carriers participating is the way that I would describe it. But we can also approach it as a pure neutral host DAS, but it all depends on the funding and who's paying for that neutral host DAS that really determines what the economics are. So happy to have a follow-up with you. And yes, we do that as part of our day-to-day business with D&H partners.
Thanks, John and Manu. If that's something you'd like to do, we're getting ready to cover off on contact information for any pre-sales, solution architecting, sales support. So thank you. Continue to send your questions in. We want to take them as we get ready to wrap up here over the next 2 to 3 minutes. I think we've got another polling question. Again, Tom, thank you for your help on stepping through the
Adam?
Ubiquity portfolio. Yes.
Yeah, just wanted to pop in and say about private 5G for cell reception. Unify also supports Passpoint, which I know T-Mobile also does as well. So if you have an existing Unify Wi-Fi setup, or you're looking to build one out as part of investigating our 5G setup as well, you can use Unify access points to provide a public guest Wi-Fi network that will use Passpoint authentication, so that people's phones will join it, use it for Wi-Fi calling, etc.
Fantastic.
Not quite as feature-rich as a femtocell or a DAS product, but it's also super easy to get up and going.
Appreciate that. All right.
Yep.
Another polling question is before we wrap up. Question for you, partner community. How interested are you in adding T-Mobile 5G connectivity and a larger, broader connectivity practice to your business? We'll give you a few minutes to answer. We're hopeful we get lots of A's, and we got lots of reasons to follow up with partners after today's meeting. In the meantime, while we're doing the polling question, does the Dream router have Wi-Fi built in?
Yes, it does. It's tri-band Wi-Fi 7, so 2.4, 5, and 6 gigahertz.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you for your polling questions. We'll get wrapped up here, and we're still way ahead of schedule. So how to get started? Obvious question. As I wrap up the discussion, I just want to emphasize that getting started with 5G connectivity does not require some major organizational shift. It's not a large upfront investment. The best approach is to simply identify opportunities within your business that you're already working with customers today around networking, right? That's the best opportunities. The process is going to be straightforward. You can then reach out to D&H directly, or you can reach out to Cellhub directly. Either case, we're going to help you together, as they are our primary agent and consultative partner in 5G. And we'll start the conversation. We'll be happy to get on an end user discussion with you. It's simple. 2 email addresses. They're on the screen. You can contact us at tmo5g@dnh.com. That is a email box at D&H that we'll handle for all things 5G. Or you can reach out directly at dnh@cellhub.com with any particular technical questions, and they would be happy to help you the same. We're here to support you. That's it. Leverage the Cellhub expertise. They can assist with solution design, technical validation, go-to-market support. We can get you pricing files. We can get you use cases. And then we at D&H can help you with the corresponding hardware or bill of materials around a Ubiquity solution or some other networking solution, adding power to it, adding 5G to it, building an always up solution. And if you want to just take a few minutes on your own to learn more about the partner relationship that you could, and the partner resources available to you as a D&H partner in 5G, you can go to dnh.cellhub.com, and you can get a host of information about becoming a 5G, building a 5G practice, and making a decision if you do want to proceed forward with getting onboarded into the T-Mobile for Business network so that you can be a sub-agent and to begin the process of receiving commissions regularly for selling T-Mobile's data plans. Finally, identify opportunities, look for customers where downtime is costly. Locations are waiting on wireline installations for too long, lots of branch offices, retail sites that have POS activity that must stay up, healthcare facilities where they've got distributed need for healthcare and connectivity into, connectivity into their key medical systems, hospitality environments. Corey even mentioned like short-term construction sites. Any organization that's seeking a more resilient network strategy, doesn't have a long time to set up a wireline, but just needs to get turned on. These are ideal starting points. Again, click on the QR code or visit dnh.cellhub.com for more information. With that, I want to thank you again for your partnership. I want to thank you again for your participation today. We hope that spending the last 40 minutes with us has been worth your while, and we are grateful for your business every day and the opportunity to work with you in this capacity. We look forward to it. For those that asked questions, we appreciate the questions, and we will follow up with all parties who were on the call that expressed interest in talking with us further about building a 5G connectivity practice. Thanks again. Enjoy your Thursday. Take care.